And this is Ken Kreitzer for CBSI Services, Talking Business, our interview series, talk with leaders in the field of direct marketing, digital marketing, banking, insurance, customer service, and business education, all to highlight the great work of our team in Harrison, New York. Our company supplies insurance-based benefits to the credit card and payments industry, and our team's been doing a great job taking care of our clients and their customers during this COVID-19 epidemic. Now, I want to introduce two guests that we have today, and we have the president of Kroll Direct, based in Wellington, Florida, and that is Lee Kroll. Lee, how are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
Good, and also a well-known figure in the Hudson Valley Direct Marketing Club, and that is Jeff Kobil. Jeff, how are you today? You're out on Long Island. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ken, and good to say hello to Lee in Florida. Everything is good here, as best as could be.
Well, that's what we want to hear. And why don't we just start with Lee? Just tell us a little bit about your company and how your business has been operating during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Sure, thank you, Ken. So at Kroll Direct Marketing, we're a 31-year-old direct marketing agency. We have been involved in all facets of direct marketing. We're list managers, we're list brokers, compilers. We process leads in real time, verify information, and we were the first data company to get involved in mobile marketing 13 years ago.
Well, that's great. Tell us, has there been what has the impact been for your clients since the world changed and the lockdown started in the middle of March?
Sure. So a lot of our clients have either been asking us for our consultative services, asking what we should do, where we should spend our money. Should we stay in the postal side? Should we move to more of an online aspect? How should we impact and deal with social media? Basically, it's an integrated marketing approach that we're discussing with each of our clients. Some of the clients have been forging ahead, planning for the fall season, as well as planning testing strategies for 2021. And others have been basically putting their campaigns on hiatus and delaying their campaigns till things, let's say, look a little rosier for everyone.
Absolutely. I just want to, again, introduce Jeff Kobil, who is of Jeff Kobil Consulting, supporting Kroll Direct as a data strategist. Jeff, how have you seen the impact of the pandemic for your clients and your businesses?
I think that, as Lee indicated, I think there is a certain amount of hesitancy. I think people understand traditionally on the direct mail side that they're being challenged with finding new sources, okay? It's still important to a lot of direct mail people. Many of them don't participate in the large data warehouses, whether they be DMPs or DSPs, and I think they're struggling to get outside the world of co-ops, which has been dominant in the direct mail acquisition space. Many of them still have some old feelings about email, that acquisition has been a challenge for them. And I think they're looking for ways to stabilize their business and at the same time being able to support either a rate base or a newsletter or a direct-to-consumer subscription.
Absolutely. Now, Kroll Direct has a new product that we wanted to discuss today called the Social Link Database, great for finding new prospects. Lee, tell us a little bit about the Social Link Database, if you would.
Sure. So the Social Link Prospecting Database is really a whiteboard solution for any type of direct marketer, any vertical, such as political, fundraising, publishing, automotive, catalogers, subscription box categories, you name it, we have the solution for it because there are followers and folks that like these different brands or any type of product as such that are out there. So everything is a customized solution that we can provide a multi-channel direct marketing resource for any kind of client, any type of campaign. Could be postal, telemarketing, certainly email. We can append and analyze the customer's database so we can identify which of their followers and likes are tied to a phone number or postal address, as well as demographics, of which we have hundreds of them that can be appended to give them further insight into their customer base and or followers and likes.
Very good. Now, you talk about it being used for a variety of types of campaigns. Now, today we're so multi-platform. We talk about it trying to go both social media, electronic media, as well as direct mail. What are some of the applications, the types of platforms this data can be used for in campaigns?
Sure. So, of course, Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla. So that's the primary driver, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And LinkedIn can be used for finding the elusive business executives that can't be found on other B2B databases. So we have a multitude of different opportunities to identify these singular or multi social media activists.
Well, certainly that is being innovative. Tell us a little bit about how this can work with Facebook. I mean, there are organizations that have millions of likes, and now you have groups on Facebook. Tell us a little bit about how this service can work effectively with Facebook.
Sure. So we can look at the emerging and growing category of subscription box buyers. As a continuity buyer, they're certainly engaged in making purchases, getting a subscription box every time they offer. Could be on a weekly or monthly basis, and they're certainly engaged in that product and a fan of that type of box. So we can identify folks that are buying boxes for pets, or in the prenatal marketplace, or children's area, or it could be a microbrewery or winery. It runs the gamut, and we have literally tens of millions of these folks that are identified through the posts on their pages, their profiles, as well as they've been sent different offers and have responded to those respective other box offers or other campaigns. We take that information, we append it back across a fully opted-in third-party database. So we have their email addresses, we have their postal address on about 45% of the records, and of course phone numbers that are available based upon a cell phone or a landline. So it's a multi-channel approach that we can identify any type of category, any type of brand. It's great for, let's say, a magazine publisher or a cataloger looking for competitors, because these folks tend not to make their list available, certainly not with an email address. So we're able to identify and provide, for a prospecting standpoint, any type of competitive magazine, publication, catalog company, you name it, we can identify these folks.
And Jeff Kobil, you mentioned to me that this social link database can be used for a variety of campaigns. One of the areas is banking. Tell us a little bit about how this database might be used for different types of banking acquisition campaigns.
What a part of this that includes real-time keyword searches. Okay, so in other words, and by the way, what we can do with what Lee was mentioning is that, as with traditional media, this is not a social media solution. Okay, people, upon first hearing of it, think of it as social media. It's really online to offline, and then converting to either online or offline as a user. The real-time searches covers keywords that are done in real time, whether someone is clicking on an ad or putting in a search term for Chase banking or private banking, as I've done for a particular client in the investment field. These are all available in terms of keywords in market intent. In other words, someone is taking an action and almost acting as a hotline for an affinity brand. So I think there are two elements to this. One is the real-time searching, and the other one is identifying followers and likes. It also gives an opportunity to look at a bank that may have its own followers, and we have the ability to give them back a file with postal and email of their own followers, which they can then use as a prospecting tool for people who may not be current banking with them. So it's literally a whiteboard approach. It doesn't exist in a database. It's not sitting at a branded fulfillment center. It is literally created each time a request comes in.
Well, very good. And Lee, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how somebody who's interested can find out more information, find out counts of prospect names that are available.
Right.
How does someone do that?
Okay, so they can contact us at KrollDirect.com. They can email or text us, either Jeff or myself, my staff. But the beauty is that, again, it's a customized approach. And for us to build out a database, as Jeff intimated, that it's not sitting on the shelf, we customize and build each file. So we'll go back and do a search for, let's say, the number of folks that are liking or following a particular brand or company or celebrity or anything at all, and look at it based upon a weekly quantity, back it into a 30-day cycle, and take that moving forward and building out the universe for a client. So we're able to customize it based upon taking, let's say, an average of 25 to 30 different keywords or phrases, particular, locked in solution per se. Once we pull the trigger, we can make modifications on it to drive particular responses for clients' need.
Very good. And, it sounds like you've really been able to handle the switch to digital marketing pretty well. Tell us a little bit about, Lee, the way your company was able to evolve into the new digital and mobile platforms.
Well, we've been involved in this for, let's say 15, 20 years. It's the mobile side that we're seeing incredible growth and innovation. So we're able to, let's say, track folks that are through another platform, identify folks that are, let's say, in the real estate market, following, let's say, Realtor.com or Zillow or other real estate oriented sites. And as a result, we can then build out a universe for those folks that are actively using their mobile apps and in the market for a home. And we can do customized campaigns to those folks. But again, that's another platform, but we could also tie that back into Social Link, where we can identify the followers and likes of Realtor.com and Zillow and other sites that are used in a prominent manner.
Well, it's certainly quite a challenge to be able to make the switch into digital marketing. Lee, maybe tell us a little bit about your career. I know you started, as I did, in the traditional list brokerage list management business, and there's been so much changes in the industry. Tell us about how you handled that and evolved.
Sure. So I've been involved in the industry for 41 years, believe it or not, and Jeff has been involved as well for a very long time.
Thank
and
you.
It's a wonderful industry, great people, wonderful friendships. It's when we used to have our conventions, it used to be like a love fest. I see no other industry that's like it, where we all work in a very compatible yet competitive marketplace. And it's a common respect for one another. We work together very well between managers and brokers and compilers, and we see the integration of online folks, and they have particular needs as well. But the data that we work with on a day-to-day basis, so talking about enhancements and other overlays and verification of information, is critical. A center that's using our mobile file as a point of verification to identify the individuals coming in from just an ANI, which is just the phone number. This platform operates in real time. We're able to identify the phone number tied to the household. We pick up to 7 different individuals at that household with multitude of phones, and can identify the respective carrier as well. And then each offer that the call center is representing can be tailored to that individual in the household for presence of children, different income levels, if it's a certain carrier, if it's a contracted versus non-contracted phone, we can tailor the offer accordingly, and it's all happening in real time. So the use of data and the power that we bring to the table is incredible. And these are the new, I want to say, new platforms, new environment that the data industry and direct marketing folks are operating in. So we've had to make the migration into the digital environment, the mobile space, and transcending to social media, and the term, big data is certainly appropriate because there's so many different opportunities and challenges for marketers to spend their dollars.
Absolutely. And maybe I'll ask Jeff Kobil a question. Lee just mentioned big data. When did that happen? When was a big transformation, would you say, from the list business that operated for many years to the big databases that have been formed? When did that happen? Is that a product of the internet, or is it other factors? Is it mobile that's contributed to it? Because it seems like everybody's now trying to figure out how to manage the billions of pieces of data that the internet is producing each year. When did it all change, do you think?
Well, Lee may have a better handle on that. From my background, I don't think the question of big data ever came in for clients traditionally using direct mail. Probably 10 years ago or less. One of the issues that came up is that I think there's been a drop in the cost of modeling, okay? And I think the idea that only the Merediths or the Time Incs of the world or other big companies were able to take advantage of it. And I think once the idea of being able to model and understand first-party data and third-party data became a little bit more commonplace, I think you've seen vendor prices drop a bit. So the idea of paying for modeling or paying for data has sort of come down to where most mailers are not expecting to pay for model data, with the exception of a co-op. If they're looking to test models, they're going to negotiate pricing down a bit. So my guess is that it's probably more so in the last 10 years. I think one of the issues that we find with, I don't want to use, there are still a lot of people who rely on direct mail and are not relying on the 20, 30, or 50,000 a month that are spent through DMPs and DSPs. And there, the challenge has been finding acceptable new sources. I was on a DMAW webinar the other day, and you have nonprofits who still rely on mail for donations. And one of the things they were looking to reach out to was non-donor activists. In other words, people who may not be contributing but support the organization. And we've had some good luck in terms of reaching out to nonprofits, recognizing that they could find those non-donor activists through the social link prospect database. We're doing it with publishing also, to be able to identify publishing brands where their list may no longer be on the market, for example, a Wall Street Journal, et cetera, but they can go in there and identify affinity brand followers and bring them into a co-op for optimization or do their own modeling. So, it's a whole new world of being open to new sources. And I think big data is out there, but I think big data is looking for big time spenders. And a lot of the people out there are still running catalogs and so forth, and publishing magazines, and CBD is a big market, and the health market is big, where this type of data has enormous value to them.
Well, I like your point about the cost of doing modeling coming down.
Yes.
We see that many applications. Today I used to do name selection modeling back in trying to promote different direct mail promotions for banks. And now we see the cost of modeling is much less. Now, I got to ask you, gentlemen, a big activity this year is going to be political mailing, and both at the national and local level. How do you see this working this year? Is it going to be a kind of a revenue source for the industry on direct mail and online? What do you see happening on that, Lee?
I hope it is. I mean, we only have, as of today, 98 days left till the election. Yeah. But nonetheless, we've actually carved out under the social link platform a range of different products for the political environment. So we've identified the presidential candidates, the followers and likes of those folks, as well as we drilled down into different PACs, governors by political party, congressmen, senators. We've broken each of those different professional groups out and political parties. So we can carve out and identify folks that are followers and likes of the NRA, as well as, let's say, the any other liberal causes as well. So we have all the different groups identified by PACs, by causes, and can identify the respective parties that the different government officials are tied to. And we see it as a certain moving environment. We've had a lot of success, a lot of mailers testing our database for postal campaigns. Not so much on the digital side, which we're very surprised about. But nonetheless, people are happy and are using the files for postal campaigns.
Well, that's a good point that you make, that it's the direct mail is being used for political campaign elections this fall, and something for everyone to watch to see how the mechanics of all that will work. Let's ask Jeff Kobil a final question today. Jeff, what do you see happening as far as the balance of the year? What your clients are looking at, what you're recommending to them? Some people are saying that a little bit of investment now can make your brand stand out and give a better opportunity for when the economy picks up, perhaps next year. What do you see your clients doing? What are you recommending?
Well, I think they're not necessarily canceling mailings. September through January as possibilities when people are going to be in the mail. They've mailed in September, you know, and that period historically, and I don't think they're going to move away with it. What you're going to see is tighter budget constraints. I think maybe less package testing and creative testing, and more of a focus maybe on finding ways to improve their merge-purge operation and taking a look at whether there are certain ways that they can optimize files that they would not have normally used before. So I think there are ways of saving money through merge-purge. You know, people are bringing in data sources that they might have said, okay, you know, I'm only going back 13 months on a donor, former donor. I've learned you can go back in publishing, go back 5 and 10 years to reactivate former subscribers to your pub. So I think there are multiple ways of approaching it, quite frankly. And I think, if I may add, you know, like 8, 9 years ago, we would probably place an order with Lee and ask him to omit some of these sources. Well, today, you can't afford to do that. You've got to be able to be aggressive and be open to testing new email approaches and new postal approaches, or else you won't survive, quite frankly.
Okay, maybe a final thought from Lee Kroll, president of Kroll Direct,
I think
about what you see happening in the fall and your new product.
Yeah, so what I see happening in a lot of discussions, particularly with one of our list owners, is the advent of programmatic marketing to smart TV owners. Again, it's in early stages, but I see a shift and a lot of noise coming out of that arena.
Right.
Folks will be looking at that very aggressively. So we have a database of about 32 million US smart TV owners that are being looked at very aggressively. It's a global database, but we're looking at that very closely as to how folks can utilize that information. Again, identifying folks that might be, let's say, a diabetic with a smart TV. So for an advertising standpoint, it's great for the pharmas to identify and market to those folks via programmatic marketing. So it's a great way to reach the right audience with the proper CPM. So again, I think we're going to see that opening up more aggressively in 2021, being that people have been at home and watching a lot more television. So I think we're going to see another shift, another paradigm, and a new channel opening up much more aggressively.